March Madness. March Madness. It's time. It's a top 5 month of the year. We have March Madness. We didn't get March Madness a few years ago. I'm excited about it this year. I didn't even fill out a bracket last year. That's how excited I am this year. It's very exciting times. We got the bracket today. I'm looking right at it. There's a lot going on here. With me it's Boney. Boney is back. Boney had the honor of going to the Big Ten championship today.
And it was madness. Yep.
It's madness. First and foremost, I'm sorry to the dear people of the state of Iowa, but it's over. We're done. You and I, we're through. I'm through with the state. Wisconsin, you're not off the hook just yet. You still come in at 50 on my state power rankings, but congratulations, Iowa. You're number 49. I am under protest. You are not my champions.
They get silver.
They get first or second is the best. No, they're horrible. We will put them in jail. So now, we talk about Iowa. We don't like Iowa. No more Iowa. Boney, what do you think about the bracket? You know college basketball a lot more than I do.
I'm trying my best just not to be a homer this week. I'm trying not to overreact, but some things have to change. Starting with Coach K's Duke Blue Devils.
Yes. Anyone but Duke. But don't tell that to any of the media outlets. Do you think that they let Coach K in fact write his own bracket? I know there was a lot of conspiracy rumors about that. Do you think that they let him write it?
Considering they've already beaten Gonzaga and that would be their Elite Eight matchup. You never know. And when your 4 seed is Arkansas and your 3 seed is a Texas Tech without Chris Beard, the West was won, and it might be won by Duke quite easily.
I guess we'll just jump right into the West region. This is a very weak. This is a weak region. I don't like it. The first thing that popped into my brain when I saw this was anyone that follows me on Twitter, I have been all over the selection committee. I want Sister Jean to be the one to knock out Coach K. That's what I want. It's the nuns versus the devil himself. It would only be so fitting. But, of course, they didn't want to give me that. But I'll take the next best thing. I want Tom Izzo to be the one to knock him out.
Yeah, and that may be what happens. Honestly, there's just something about tournaments that Tom Izzo turns it on, and he gets his players to he gets them to their ceiling.
Yes.
And they have shown weakness.
Mm-hmm.
They have been they have all the talent in the world. That's how Tom Izzo happens. It's just they're almost too it's hard to say how you don't want to say selfish, but they're not as cohesive as you want. But it's almost like the clock strikes midnight, the clock strikes March for Tom Izzo.
It always does.
They go bananas.
Well, it's like we saw that yesterday with the game against Purdue. Like I was following, I didn't get to watch the game, but I did follow it along, and there was at one point Purdue was up like 12. I'm like, okay, this is over. Like I can put it away. And then I'm getting the alerts on my phone. And it's like, oh my God, it's a 2-point game.
Oh, that's every Purdue game. That's every Purdue game. Trust me.
That's very fair. Izzo versus Coach K, that's probably the matchup I'm most looking forward to besides the potential Gonzaga Duke. I don't want it to get that far. I would love to see Izzo knock him out. But, I look at this region and it's not even the 5 versus 12 I don't get excited about.
No. New Mexico State. I mean, I can name you most mascots, and I believe I want to say they're the Aggies, New Mexico State, but
yes, that sounds about right.
if you're going to be a 12 seed or under, have a cool mascot.
Mhm.
Don't just be the same as someone else. Like, I know we have one of them is the Pelicans.
That would
That's
be cool.
a cool mascot.
That's
yeah,
what we should be doing brackets about. We should be doing brackets solely based off mascots
exactly.
because I think the Pelican would make the Final Four.
But we do get a Rutgers Notre Dame first 4 game, and
Yes.
Rutgers can turn it up when they need to, but Notre Dame can show some flashes as well.
I was writing Notre Dame off, but then I look at what Virginia Tech did. They beat Notre Dame, they beat North Carolina, and then they beat Duke to win the ACC. But of course, Virginia Tech isn't in this region because they couldn't do that to Coach K twice.
No.
They couldn't do that again. That would be too mean. We cannot bully Coach K.
Yep.
It's all about Coach K this season. It's not about the players, not about the fans, not about Duke University. It's Coach K.
Yeah, and it's been like this all season. I mean, when you see promos 4 weeks in advance about Coach K's final game, you know what the season's about. He's the best coach there ever was in college basketball, but
we have to have.
He also has players. Oh, absolutely.
Coach K, unless you're a fan of Duke, it's just like that's who you hate. And once he's gone, we just don't have that anymore.
Absolutely.
Now,
an interesting matchup in this. I know Memphis is one of those teams that has all the talent in the world, and a possible second-round matchup between Penny Hardaway's Memphis and Gonzaga. That might be on some upset alert there.
What do you think that there is realistically a scenario in which case, we go to the Sweet 16 and it's Memphis and Michigan State?
There's definitely a possibility. The problem with this bracket this year is it's not like previous years. It's not like last year where you knew there were 2 teams, they were going into the final. It was going to be Gonzaga versus Baylor. That is not the case this year.
No, this is wide open. I think at the end of it, Gonzaga is going to be in the Elite Eight. I just don't know who it's going to be. I would like to see Rutgers go on a little bit of a run just to, represent the Big Ten and the fact that they just they somehow beat all the Big Ten's best teams at some point this year. They got the 4th seed in the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis. It would be cool to see them run the table here to get to New Orleans, but I'm not so sure if that's going to be the case.
That's going to be a rough time.
Right. So I know we still have a lot of brackets to fill out before we even get to the second round. Who do you like coming out of the the West region right now? Just
the West.
First initial thoughts. Not thinking about it.
My first initial thought is Gonzaga. They're just the deepest. You have Drew Timme, and then you have Chet Holmgren. What a name, Chet Holmgren.
Did you see his dad with the camcorder? Like not even
absolutely.
The newer ones. It's like the old school VHS tape.
He is the prototypical AAU dad, and I am here for it.
Do you think he's sending? Do you think he taped it up and mailed it to the teams that are going to be drafting first, like Houston and Detroit?
I think most good schools will have a media guy who can do that for him.
It's going to be Chet Holmgren's dad.
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't trust
just do it for free.
SIA. Yeah,
he'll just do it for free.
You think he does that for all the other, recruits on his team? Like, does he have a Drew Timme one with the Fu Manchu?
Oh, I don't think there's any way that he does it for anybody but his kid. I think that other parents probably ask him to. He's like, nah. Yes, we will acknowledge Tom Brady's back.
Pulling a Brett Favre. Can't not do a Brett Favre.
Can't pull a Brett Favre. Take it away from Aaron Rodgers. I would just like to dispel we are not cheering for Yale. We are # anyone but Duke, # anyone but Yale. No Yale. No Ivy League. Jaden Ivey, not Ivy League. With that transition, we will go down into the behemoth, which is this region. It's like they said, let's create as much chaos as possible and throw it in the East region.
And let's just put in every blue blood we can imagine.
Literally. This is insane. It's stacked.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it gets as deep as North Carolina as the 8th seed. I don't know what to say. Virginia Tech, the ACC champs, is the 11th seed in this.
Yeah, and then you have Indiana, who's in the play-in game for this, who they unfortunately can get hot.
Yes.
Trace Jackson Davis is an all-conference player, and
Yes,
Xavier Johnson can somehow light you up from mid-range.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody can go on a run here, but this just does not look fun.
No, it does not. This is when I was following along with the bracket release on Twitter, and I just kept going along like, okay, like where's this team? Where's this team? Like, where is this team showing up? And then then we got down to the East region because they did it last, and I go, mother of God! I literally texted Boney. I said, we're gonna have to play Kentucky and Baylor, and now North Carolina's in there, and UCLA's in there, and Texas is in there. Like this is insane. The only team in Gonzaga's conference that can take them and beat them. St. Mary's is, of course, in this division. Or I'm sorry, this region. If I'm Scott Drew, I'd be like, what the hell? Like that's just cruel to do to the defending champs.
To me, I'm not even sure Baylor should be that fourth. No.
This is basketball. No Matt Nagy. He's in jail.
But I'm not even sure Baylor should have been the fourth number one seed.
I don't.
So it almost ended up worse for Baylor because they were a 1 seed, because now they have to go through this gauntlet.
Right.
Like when you have a second round matchup with North Carolina, then you could potentially have a Sweet 16 with UCLA, an Elite 8 with Kentucky. How are you getting out of this? You need the deepest team, which Baylor is. You know, you're defending champs. You know how this happens. I think there's not too many like deep teams for tournament's sake, but you have all the talent in the world in this one. Unfortunately, Purdue, they have some experience in the tournament, but first round exit last year.
I felt good about this team all year. I'm like, we'll just turn it on in March. We'll just figure it out in March. And then I saw this region. And I go, I don't know how to feel about this one.
Yeah.
The fact that what I have circled on this region is, of course, a Sweet 16 matchup. And it's this one right here. It's Kentucky versus Purdue. That is going to be very interesting to see. Of course, that requires a lot to even get to Kentucky versus Purdue. Murray State as a 7 seed is going to be no cakewalk for Calipari's team. Texas or Virginia Tech is going to be a tough matchup for Purdue in the second round. Like it's
Chris Beard is our mortal enemy. So
Chris Beard is Texas. Like,
and then Virginia Tech is just. It's all the Wofford players coming in, and they have the tournament magic.
Yeah, literally.
Man.
This is going to be my favorite region. I'm not going to be bored by any game here, except I probably will pay more attention to whatever game is going on when Murray State and San Francisco is going on, and then UCL and Akron, however you say it. I don't know. I'm not from Ohio. Just
Akron
because
Zips.
I feel like the Zips. I feel like Murray State and UCLA should just win those games decidedly. Do you think that Wyoming or Indiana, because that is the playing game in this region, do you think either one of them knocks off St. Mary's, or who do you think has the best shot at doing that?
Indiana.
We love 12s.
Indiana has more talent, and I believe they have the ability to make the Sweet 16.
That's fair.
It pains me to say that, but it's true. And then
that would require. Oh my gosh, that would require beating UCLA. That would be a pretty good game, Indiana and UCLA. Not
and
even
then St. Mary's,
the players that they have right now, but just for like college basketball, that's 2 huge brands right there.
Exactly. Every huge brand is in this
literally
bracket. You cannot escape it.
You've got North Carolina, the defending champs Baylor, Indiana, UCLA, Chris Beard in Texas, Purdue, Kentucky. It's not fair. Why couldn't they spread the wealth with Coach K's conference? Well, we all know Duke always gets a cakewalk because, as always, anyone but Duke.
I think they also have the best. Going back to the mascots, this mascot region is pretty good.
It is. I enjoy it. I'm looking at what we've got.
I mean, you got the Akron Zips, the Virginia Tech Hokies, the Murray State Racers. I mean, obviously Kentucky, you got the Wildcats, but they're playing the St. Peter's Pelicans.
It's the Pelicans. The Pelicans would be in my Final Four if we were doing nicknames.
Mm-hmm. I believe Norfolk State is either the Vikings or like the Norse.
That's just cool.
Yeah, classic Tar Heels.
Classic.
Yeah.
I wish we had Roy Williams. That would be fitting for this region. That would be fitting. But now that we've got, also we already asked, because we did it for the West region, we got to do it for the East region. Not thinking about it, pure gut reaction. Who's coming out of the East and going to New Orleans to play Gonzaga as you pick?
Kentucky. Yeah. I think Oscar Tshiebwe can just carry a team. But that being said, I have tickets to the Final Four.
How good are you feeling about those tickets now after how does it feel knowing that the NCAA selection committee, they really went, Ryan Bonaparte bought tickets to New Orleans. Let's screw him over.
Oh, I'm going to New Orleans regardless, but I can sell those tickets if need be.
That's fair. You could just sit at the hotel. You can thank Tom Burnett for that.
Yeah.
Guy looks like someone stole his puppy.
I can also thank Kevin Warren for that because he refuses to get rid of Big Ten officials.
Mm-hmm.
But Purdue was undefeated in non-conference, and they're going to get the whistles in this tournament. I'm manifesting it. They are going to get to the free throw line, and Jaden Ivey is going to carry this team to the promised land.
I think my favorite hashtag for this region is going to be Ivy versus Ivy. That might be my favorite because it's Ivy League against Jaden Ivey. That's going to just be cool.
Fantastic.
Things we love to see, that. Let's get out of the scary region. We're going to head over to the South where, because it makes sense that Arizona's in the South, so let's just put them as the one there. That makes total sense. This one, this region makes me mad.
There's some names.
There's, is this where you had some hot takes in this region?
This region just looks bland to me. Like, I don't see an easier path for Arizona. Nova as a 2 seed is disgusting to me because I understand they won their conference championship, but I believe it's because of Villanova or because of the eye test that Villanova is a 2 seed and Purdue is not.
And Purdue beat them. People forget that. Hashtag people forget. People forget.
That being said, I understand that was months and months ago, but if Purdue could be where Nova is right now, and all you have to do is to beat Arizona to get to the Final Four, I mean, Tennessee might be looking pretty good in that. Tennessee comes to play for big games, too.
That's fair.
But when Illinois is your 4 seed,
I will say, though, it is hard to beat the same team 3 times. We found that out
today. Most certainly is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We did find that out today. I do have to say I'm kind of glad that we're not the 2 seed with Villanova because there's one person that I don't want to face in this tournament, and I spoke about her earlier. She's back. She's scared. There's not a lot of things in this world that scare me, but she does. I don't know who she made a deal with to get to that Final Four, but I know she made a deal with somebody. I know it's not Tom Burnett.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it makes me uncomfortable. But this is the thing that bothered me most. The fact that Rutgers and even Indiana are playing into the tournament, going to Dayton, and Michigan just gets in. What did Michigan do to just get in? Besides beat Purdue at home.
They beat Purdue by 24. That's home. What they did.
That's the only thing that they've done.
Oh.
Let's forget the fact that they lost by 21 to North Carolina. They beat Purdue. They beat a non-ranked Iowa team, and then they just so happened to beat Ohio State when they were ranked.
And then lost to Indiana in the first
a team that's playing
their tournament. Yeah.
It's
Juwan Howard.
And Michigan, they weren't even ranked high in the Big Ten. Were they the 8th?
They were the 8th seed.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. 14-loss team. I don't like Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Still kind of mad at Jim Harbaugh without talking about football. But if we were talking about football, I don't like Jim Harbaugh. But I don't get this. I don't get why. If anything, I would make Michigan play the play-in game against Notre Dame. I think that would be Battle of the Brands, Michigan, Notre Dame. I think that would be a lot bigger, but I'm not Tom Burnett again.
Yeah, that'd be a nice rivalry game for basketball.
Right? Mm-hmm. Take the football rivalry over to basketball. It'd be great.
There you go.
I would like to bring back 12 locks. I am locking this one. I feel good about it. I want UAB over Houston. I do want that lock. I'm locking it in my bracket. I love what's his name? Jelly Walker. Jelly Walker and UAB. I don't know what UAB's team mascot is, but
they are the Blazers. They're the Blazers.
The Blazers. Good nickname.
Yeah, it's a dragon. They're a dragon.
Good nicknames win championships. That's going to be the hashtag for this region. It's going to be hashtag jelly time. That will be this one.
Or hashtag easy path.
Yes. Shout out to my friend Sarah who went to Longwood. So I will be rooting for Longwood against Tennessee.
Heck yeah.
I don't know if I'll pick them in my bracket, but I will be rooting for them. I'll be very much rooting for them. But you know what? Watch me say that. And like their players somehow hear this little soundbite and they're like, let's just screw Ben over. Hashtag be mean to Ben Day. They're going to make my day mean. Is there a game here that just sticks out to you? At least in the first round. Or any potential matchup?
I think, honestly, the best matchup I think we could see...
Is it 1-2?
I don't think it's 1-2. I think it's probably the Tennessee-Villanova game.
That would be a good game.
Because that would be a rematch of
that would be
Mohegan Sun. Yep.
Because we played North Carolina. Yep.
Right. And I don't know if Tennessee loses this time if they get to that.
Tennessee is hot.
Mm-hmm.
Because, to knock off Kentucky, then they knocked off a red-hot Texas A&M team, which I'm surprised that Texas A&M is not anywhere in this bracket.
I think it's almost ridiculous that this Texas A&M team can knock off a 2 seed and then a 4 seed and then, don't win the SEC championship. But how are they not in a play-in game?
That's a great question. That's an excellent question. Does that make you think that what happens in the conference tournaments don't matter as much as what the team does throughout the entire year?
They absolutely do not. The only thing that matters in the conference tournament is your AQs, your automatic qualifiers.
Yes.
You can sway, but you cannot have the same type of sway.
And isn't it something like if you start – isn't the NIT like if you win your regular season but get bounced from your postseason conference tournament, don't you get like an automatic bid to the NIT or something like that?
I have not heard of that, but that could definitely be.
I don't know. Maybe Texas A&M will win the NIT.
Well, Texas A&M's in the same boat as Dayton, and that's gonna bring. bring us into our next one, but we're not there quite yet. This Midwest is gonna bring some fun conversation.
Yes, it is. So real quick, there's some intriguing teams, not a lot as much as the last region, but just not doing any research, just purely looking at the bracket. Who is going to New Orleans?
Arizona.
That's fair. I think I would have to pick Arizona. I don't really see anybody there besides whoever comes out of that Tennessee-Villanova potential matchup could give them a run for their money, but I think Arizona takes it.
Yeah.
Let's head on out to the Midwest, where I am not, but you are. You are in the Midwest.
That I am. Yep.
And we've got the Midwest region, where home of state number 50 out of 50 in my rankings.
Yeah, which, fun fact, Purdue plays in Milwaukee for the very first games. Yeah.
I hate everything.
Mm-hmm.
I hate everything right now. That's rigged. They literally are out to get me right now.
Yeah, so could have had it all. Could have had your perfect Indianapolis, Chicago dream scenario, but nope, they gave us a 3 seed.
Jail. Tom Burnett deserves jail. I don't love Kansas here.
OJ Abaji is one of those players that they are not going to stop talking about in March, and deservedly so.
Yes.
The guy can just take over. But I think that Auburn can give this region a run. I'd like to say Wisconsin has the ability to do it. Iowa's just going to get tired eventually, despite their offense, and they're not going to, they're finally going to start calling these fouls on Iowa.
Yeah. Not my
Big Ten refs. Big Ten refs are should be shot to the moon. But I don't see much resistance for the high seeds until they hit the Sweet 16 Elite 8.
That's fair.
LSU just fired their head coach, so we'll see how that turns out.
That's true.
We've got
is gone.
Yes, Will Wade is gone. Jitters do not prosper unless you're a big enough name, and he was not.
No, he was not.
Go Toothpaste University versus Wisconsin.
Yes, I've had this discussion with several people today, and I'm ready to put it out into the universe. It will be tweeted later after this podcast. I've made the deal. Should Colgate beat Wisconsin in the first round this week, I will be dumping toothpaste on my head, specifically Colgate toothpaste. It will be happening in celebratory of the Wisconsin Badgers, my least favorite state, losing. Yes. It has nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers, but if we were talking about Aaron Rodgers, I would like to see him be put in super jail. I actually did write down, I quoted, I said, Auburn's really losing to Jacksonville State, aren't they? I don't know why, but I feel like that would be a total Bruce Pearl thing to do.
I don't think that's going to happen because Jacksonville State didn't even deserve, Jacksonville State didn't even deserve to be in this tournament. They didn't win their conference tournament, and they were not going to be in at-large bid. They're just lucky that, their conference tournament winner was ineligible because they were too good to start off when they came to D1.
Was that Bellarmine or something like that?
Yes. Yeah.
We should have let the kids play. That is crap that Bellarmine is not in this tournament.
How are you going to reward a team? And mind you, this wasn't even like Jacksonville State made the final of their conference tournament and lost, and Bellarmine, wasn't eligible. They weren't even in the final And so because they were the regular season champs, they got to go.
Yes.
How are you going to do that? You're not even going to give it to the runner-up of your conference tournament?
Nope. I don't know what they were thinking. Not good. It's not good. Bellarmine should absolutely have been allowed to play here. Yes. Yes. Let the
But
kids play.
if nothing else, Jacksonville should have gotten the auto bid, considering they beat Jacksonville State to get to their final.
I would agree with that.
I
do hate to say it, but unless Wisconsin pulls a Wisconsin, I do like them in that potential Sweet 16 matchup against Auburn. I really do. I like Johnny Davis.
I'd like to see Johnny Davis go up against if you've got Walker Kessler, I don't think Johnny Davis is coming down as hard. That is just a mountain of a man to go through.
Right.
And then you have Jabari Smith as well, who can just come over top of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason Auburn was number one for as long as they were.
Oh, absolutely.
I would say, if anything, the intriguing matchups you might see. It's possible you might see a 12 versus a 13 if Richmond can get over Iowa and South Dakota State can get over Providence.
See, that one would hurt me because I would love to see Providence go on a run. I would like to see Providence go to the Elite Eight. I don't know why. It's just the vibes I get. I'd like to see, of course, it's fitting. I'm going to be the biggest Colgate and Richmond fans this week because states 50 and 49 in my state power rankings are in the same region. I hope they both lose and they're both in the Big Ten. That would be a great sight to see. I like Creighton over San Diego State.
I can see that happening. I really wish Creighton had pulled out against Villanova, pulled it out. But
we need a lot to happen.
Shout out to Texas A&M Corpus Christi with the longest name possible.
Do you think that that's a dig? Did you think that they knew that it was going to happen? They're like, we're going to dig at Texas A&M, and we're going to name it this so and so. We're going to extend it, and then in like 20 years, make the NCAA tournament when they don't get it.
Unfortunately, no. They got Coach Lutz down there. He's doing real well. He used to be a Purdue assistant, and Matt Painter's tree is growing.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is just.
Penn State will be in the tournament within the next 2 years.
Right.
Coach Shrewsbury over there is going to – oh, yeah.
Yep.
They are going to – you'll see some good basketball out of them. But
that's fair.
USC and Miami sounds like a good matchup, but
it just sounds like it. It's just though.
It bores me. It's the same thing with LSU and Iowa State.
Yeah.
It sounds good, but like –
sounds great, doesn't work.
Just make that one of those games that's like
when another good game is on, that when I'm watching 4 TVs, it's like it's the TV that I don't automatically look at. Put it out of my peripheral so I don't look at it.
Yeah. Put that game on True TV. No one gets True TV.
No one cares about True TV. Put it on there. Poor True TV. Once again, put Tom Burnett in jail. Looking at this region, same as the other 3, not doing any thinking. Who comes out of this region?
Gut feeling, Kansas.
Okay.
Yeah, initial thought is Kansas. Just with OJ Abaji, he can take over a game, and Kansas is really their most recent loss was to Baylor. So,
and even then, that's not a bad loss. Like
exactly. Baylor. See, that's the thing about this Big 12 this year. They are so top heavy. I mean, when you have Kansas, Baylor, Texas Tech as your top 3, you're gonna pull some weight. Where It's the opposite of the Big Ten, where the Big Ten has nobody on the top 2 lines, but then has 9 teams. However that happened. Yeah.
So I guess that takes us to New Orleans. So we've got our Final Four predictions. You've given us your 4 picks. Who you think it's going to be?
Mm-hmm. It's Zaga, Kentucky, Zona, and Kansas. Nothing like choosing 3 1 seeds.
It's a very dangerous game to play, choosing 3 1 seeds. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm only trying to pick 2 or 1, and I don't know which one. I think the safest 1 seed is Arizona. I think that is the safest.
Probably.
I like Gonzaga because of just how cakewalky their region is, but I also think that Arizona is a much better team, well equipped for what is in their region.
Mm-hmm.
So that first game, if this is our potential matchup, what do you like about Gonzaga, Kentucky?
I like the bigs matchup with Oscar Tshiebwe versus Chet Holmgren and even Drew Timme. When you have those 2 big guys, and then you have Kentucky's almost the same thing every time. It is the biggest, most athletic team in the country. That's how year. Kentucky is every time.
How Calipari is,
But that doesn't necessarily help you against Gonzaga, who has a top 3 offense in the country.
Right.
And so it's hard for me to say this because you don't know how good Gonzaga is, unfortunately, with the conference they come from. This is why Gonzaga has the issues in the tournament every single year, save a couple. But it's hit or miss. Mark Few knows how to coach, but so does Coach Calipari.
Absolutely. I think it would be very interesting to see Calipari go back to the Final Four. It's been a minute. It's been about, I think the last time Kentucky made the Final Four was 2014. Because didn't they go to the national championship against Connecticut? I think it was something like that. I remember they won it all 10 years ago. They won it all. Kentucky did win it all 10 years ago in New Orleans.
Yep.
I'm just putting that out there.
Is it against Wisconsin?
I remember that. It was Kansas.
Okay.
We do have the potential Kentucky-Kansas matchup in your Final Four right now.
Right.
So, granted, that might not happen, but Gonzaga, Kentucky, who moves on?
I'm going to get roasted for this, but Gonzaga.
I'll allow it. All right. Then we take a look at 2-1 seeds. We look at Arizona against Kansas. What's the storyline here?
I think Kansas's depth. Kansas it seems like, whenever your backups are having a good game and your starting 5 isn't, then you've got it made. But the problem is Arizona has that same depth. Yeah. So it comes down to the 2 stars. It comes down to it's like I cannot remember his name. It's Mathern. I can never pronounce his name.
That's okay. We know that guy.
Yeah.
We know.
For Arizona, them and it just, can he take over a game? He showed he can, but can he against a caliber of Kansas? Not to mention, exactly.
The Pac-12 is not going to be the same as playing Kansas.
No.
That's not a dig at the Pac-12, but Kansas is different from anything that they played.
Right.
So, Arizona, Kansas is probably going to be tough.
Yeah, and I did this to myself because I'm choosing the two and the 3, or the overall 2 and 3 seed, but I think that Kansas, with Bill Self, has enough depth and athleticism that just barely puts them over. And I see a Gonzaga and Kansas national championship.
Okay. That's very interesting. I guess that takes us to our final game on April 4th then. This isn't the final. This isn't your final prediction. This is all based on what do you see right now in this moment in time. So right now, this is our potential national championship. You're looking at Gonzaga and Kansas. Gonzaga makes it back for the second year in a row. Kansas back for, I don't remember the last time. Was the last time Kansas in the national championship again 10 years ago?
Probably.
Oh God. So this would be, the last two national championships these teams have been in, they both lost.
Yeah, and
someone's got to win this time. Unless the refs want to win. I would be okay if the refs wanted to win. I will allow it in this scenario.
And honestly, I think Gonzaga comes across as slightly overrated.
Mm-hmm.
And just, again, it's their conference. Their conference was better this year. You have St. Mary's, you have San Francisco, who all can give a team a run for their money. But compare that to the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
You see Kansas where no night is a night off in the Big 12 except for when you're playing just the bottom of the barrel. But
fair.
Gonzaga, you go 3 teams down, you're not playing a team that's even in the tournament.
I don't know who else. I don't know who would finish below St. Mary's. Was it San Francisco in their division?
It was San Francisco. They are the 10 in the East.
I will not be changing my hat, by the way. I will not be changing my hat. But it's tough.
It is because, again, Gonzaga is one of those teams that they just somehow they bring in all of the talent in the world to, Northwestern Washington, because who wants to go there?
In the winter.
Yeah.
It's not even baseball season. It's winter.
I mean, Kansas isn't much better. You're in Kansas.
That's
but
fair. A lot of these teams, besides Arizona as one seeds, I wouldn't want to go anywhere else weather-wise.
Waco isn't too awful.
That's fair.
But it's also Texas. So I think Kansas gets it done.
You're picking Kansas?
I would gut reaction. Kansas Jayhawks.
You heard it here first and probably last. Kansas is cutting down the nets.
This is totally not what I'm putting on my bracket.
This is not what I would be putting on my bracket either.
No,
I'm going
for
UAB
sure.
for the win. I want UAB to win it all.
I will be going by the longest tenured coach. Whoever has the longest tenured coach will get the W.
You know who it better not be.
You know who that is.
I do not want that. But you know what? It's going to be scripted that way. It's going to be that way. And I will be very upset about it the entire time. I would just like to remind everyone, no matter what happens throughout the NCAA March Madness tournament, there's one thing that we all need to remember. They're just kids. They're just kids. I will be trying to remember that as I angry tweet this week about nothing happening good that I wanted to happen. Making free throws, they're just kids. Fouling out, they're just kids. Stupid hard fouls, they're just kids. No, maybe not on that one. Benching kids, they're just kids.
Don't tweet at recruits either.
Don't tweet at recruits. Do not be that guy. Do not be that guy. Don't be that guy. I've never done it. I would never do that. I don't even know any college basketball recruits. My final four is going to go ahead and just be anyone but Duke, Purdue, UAB, and Colgate. That's my final four.
Ooh, okay.
I'll get there at some point. I will probably make like 30 brackets before I find one that I actually like.
Oh, and you're going to have a bracket based on mascots. It's always going to be a thing.
Yes. I might have to do that just for funsies
Mhm.
because it would be very funny to do.
Oh, man.
Except I don't like Blue Devils. So they will be losing to jail. Put Coach K in jail. In
Way to
basketball
have,
jail.
yeah. I mean, the 4-1 seeds, your mascots, Bulldogs, Wildcats, Bears, and Jayhawks.
I do like Bears.
Ah, man.
I do like Bears a lot.
I mean, you might as well just call one of them. You might as well have all the Wildcats advance.
Yes.
There's too many Wildcats. We need new mascots and new names.
All
That's what we
cat
need.
mascots go to the Final Four. All cats. I like cats. All cats in Final Four. But that's what we got. That's our initial gut reactions to the field of 64 this year.
Very telling that I'm usually wrong with a gut reaction.
So you heard it here first. Gonzaga, Kentucky, Arizona, and Kansas are not going to the Final Four. You should have said Duke.
Ah,
You said Duke.
yeah.
Anyone but Duke. Duke gets super jail. Until then, get ready for a lot of fun content this week. It's going to be a great time. I am going to be up there. I'm going to be up in the Chicagoland area this week. Leaving sunny, warm Florida for the brutal, chilly Midwest. I'm very excited to get to see everybody, get to live in the basketball state of Indiana for a little bit. Not a Hoosiers guy. Don't ask me to wear red and white. I won't be doing it.
49 states is just basketball.
Not in Indiana. Don't ask me what a Hoosier is. I don't know what it is. But in the meantime, we'll see you in Chicago. Maybe not Chicago, probably Indiana, but we'll see you at some point.
And definitely not Milwaukee.
Not Milwaukee. I don't go to Wisconsin. Done. Wisconsin gets super jail with Coach K.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck in everyone's March Madness tournaments. Good luck with filling out your brackets. If you need help, please don't ask me because I won't give good advice. And let's go 12 seeds.
Go toothpaste.
Go toothpaste.